Welcome to Learning Nails and Aesthetics. We're starting Chapter 3 and Learning Objectives. After completing this chapter, you will be able to explain communicating for success, practice communication skills, conduct the client consultation, handle communication barriers, follow guidelines for workplace communication. Explain communicating for success. In order to have a thriving clientele, commit to mastering the art of communication. Effective human relations and communication skills build lasting client relationships, accelerate professional growth, and promote a positive work environment. Beauty professionals should study and have a thorough understanding of communicating for success because communicating effectively is the basis of the long-term relationships with clients and coworkers. The communication process will help beauty professionals perfect the consultation process with clients. Effective communication fosters a positive team environment. Good communication skills reduce potential workplace conflict. Learning how to communicate effectively can help beauty professionals improve retail and service sales. Practicing professional communication ensures the clients will enjoy their experience and encourages continued patronage. Effectively expressing ideas is a necessary skill for career advancement. Practice communication skills. The ability to understand people is the key to operating effectively in many industries. It is especially important in beauty and wellness, where customer service is the cornerstone of success. Most of a beauty professional's achievements will depend on their ability to communicate successfully with a wide range of people, supervisors, co-workers, clients, and various vendors who come into the shop. Here are practical steps for effectively communicating in the workplace. Respond instead of reacting. A man was asked why he did not get angry when a driver cut him off. "Why should I let someone else dictate my emotions?" he replied. A wise fellow, don't you think? He may have even saved his own life by not reacting with an eye for an eye mentality. Believe in yourself. When you do, you trust your judgment, uphold your values, and stick to what you believe is right. It is easy to believe in yourself when you have a strong sense of self-worth. Believing in yourself makes you feel strong enough to handle almost any situation in a calm, helpful manner. Talk less, listen more. There is an old saying that we were given 2 ears and 1 mouth for a reason. Listen more than you talk. When you're a good listener, you are fully focused on what other people are saying. Be attentive. Each client is different. Some clients are clear about what they want. Some are demanding, and still others may be hesitant. If you have an aggressive client, ask your manager for advice. You will likely be advised that what usually calms difficult clients down is agreeing with them. Follow up by asking what you can do to make the service more satisfactory. Take your temperature. If you're tired or upset, your interactions with clients may be affected. An important part of succeeding in a service profession is taking care of your personal conflicts first so that you can take the best possible care of your clients. The golden rule of communication. Follow these golden rules of communication to build a successful beauty and wellness career. Project a professional demeanor at all times. A smile can be your best asset. Wear one every day. Be aware of your body language. For example, don't cross your arms when listening to clients or team members. Instead, nod your head while listening to clients or team members. Wow, I messed that one up. Instead, nod your head to acknowledge or accept their points of view. Always remember that listening is the best relationship builder. Speak clearly and loudly enough for people to hear. Don't mumble. Avoid using slang. I would also like to add, proper grammar is extremely important. The importance of effective communication. Effective communication is the act of successfully sharing information between 2 people or groups of people so that the information is understood. You can communicate through words, voice inflections, facial expressions, body language, or visual tools, a portfolio of your work. When you and your client are both communicating clearly about an upcoming service, your chances of pleasing the client soar. Meeting and greeting new clients. One of the most important encounters you will have is meeting a client for the first time. Be polite, genuinely friendly, and inviting. Remember that your clients are coming to you for services and paying for your expertise. Communicate professionally by using the proper terminology and thoroughly explaining the features and benefit of the products and services. To earn a client's trust and loyalty, you should be consistent by always having a positive attitude. Always introduce yourself and remember to use the client's name throughout the service. Set aside a few minutes to take clients on a quick tour of your shop. Introduce clients to people they may have interactions with while in the salon, a spa, or a barber shop, including potential providers for their service, such as skincare or nail services. The client intake form. Every new client should fill out a client intake form, also called the client questionnaire, consultation card, or health history form. This form can prove to be an extremely useful communication and business tool. The client intake form is used in beauty and wellness services as a questionnaire that discloses the client's contact information, products used, hair, nail, skincare needs, preferences, and lifestyle. The form also includes all medications, both topical, which are applied to the skin, and oral, which are taken by mouth, along with any known medical issues, skin or scalp disorders, or allergies that might affect the service. Allergies or sensitivities must also be noticed, highlighted, and documented on the service record card. The client's permanent progress record or services received, results, formulations, and products used during the services or purchased. The service record card is not intended for the client's use and is completed by the beauty professional performing the service. It is the technician's responsibility to update or note changes on the document for each client visit. Some shops use a customer database to record the pertinent information. The amount of information requested on the intake form or questionnaire varies depending on your workplace. In beauty and wellness school, the intake form may be accompanied by a release statement and service notes in which the client acknowledges that the service is being provided by a student who is under instruction. This helps protect the school and the student from legal action. Whatever the specific content, remember that client intake forms are legal documents and should be kept confidential. Physical forms should be secured in lockable, fireproof cabinets, and electronic forms protected with firewalls and adequate passwords. Failure to maintain client confidentiality can have legal ramifications. How to use the intake form. The client intake form can be used from the moment a new client calls to make an appointment. When scheduling the appointment, let the client know that you and the shop will require some information before you can begin the service, and that it is important to arrive 15 minutes ahead of the appointment time. Also, allow time in your schedule to do 5 to 15-minute client consultation. Focus on understanding the total concept. While the enhancement of your client's image should always be your primary concern, it is important to remember that nails, skin, and hair are reflective of an entire lifestyle. How can you help a client make choices that reflect a personal sense of style? Start by doing a little research. Look for books or articles that describe different fashion styles and become familiar with them. This exercise is useful for developing a profile of the broad fashion and categories that you can refer to when consulting with clients. Changes can occur between visits, so remember to have your returning clients refer to their notes on the intake form recorded at their last visit. Any significant changes should be recorded on the service record card as well. Check-in. What are the golden rules of communication? Conduct the client consultation. The client consultation is the discussion with the client that determines the client's needs and how to achieve the desired results. The consultation is one of the most important parts of any service and should always be done before starting the actual service. A consultation should be performed as part of every actual service. A consultation should be performed as part of every single service and shop visit. Effective client consultations keep your clientele looking current, feeling good, and above all, satisfied with your services. A happy client means rebookings and referrals for both the business and you. Preparing for the client consultation. Be prepared to make the most of this dialogue and have certain important items on hand: a pen and client intake form, a selection of styling books, pamphlets, literature, and/or digital images that your client can look through, materials showcasing a variety of available service options, a portfolio of your work with before and after photos, additional material that can help the client visualize potential results such as treatment brochures, nail rings, or hair swatches. These items are often provided by product manufacturers as selling tools. The consultation area. It is the beauty professional's responsibility to find out the client's needs and to make recommendations accordingly. To do so effectively, you will need a freshly cleaned and uncluttered workspace. Make sure product bottles, cans, and jars are also clean. Clients should be able to look at themselves in the mirror without having to compete with sticky product bottles, implements, and tools on the station. While it may take time and effort to make your station aesthetically pleasing, the payoff of an effective consultation is worthwhile. 10-step consultation method. Every consultation should be structured so that you cover all the key points that lead to a successful consultation. While this may seem like a lot of information to memorize, it will become second nature as you become more experienced. To ensure that you cover all the bases, keep a list of the following 10 key points at your station. Modify the list as needed for each individual service. Review. Review the intake form. Feel free to make comments that break the ice and initiate conversation with the client. Read the intake form carefully, referring to it often during the consultation process. Also make notes on the service record card. Some shops will have a joint intake form and service record cards. After the service, record any formulations or products that were used and include any specific techniques or goals. This information will be needed for future visits. Assess. Perform a needs assessment. Discover what the client wants and needs. Start off by assessing the client's current style. Is it classic? Avant-garde? For skin, are they looking to remedy a skin condition or relax and unwind? For nails, are the nails long, short, or somewhat in between? Preferences. Discover and rate the client's preferences. This will help determine what services will best help the client. Here is a sample question. How would you rate the manageability of your hair on a scale from 1 to 10, where 1 is poor and 10 is excellent? These numerical values will serve as a measuring tool for total customer satisfaction. Other examples of probing questions include: when was the last time you loved your nails? What challenges are you having with maintaining your beard? Analyze. Analyze the client's characteristics. Assess the state of the client's hair, fingernails, skin, or whatever you will be working on. Take hair as an example. Examine its thickness, texture, manageability, and condition. Is the hair particularly thin on top or at the temples? Check for strong hair growth patterns, including unruly cowlicks. Ask your client what products they use at home and if the products are effective. Review the client's lifestyle. Ask the following questions about career lifestyle. Do you spend a great deal of time outdoors? Do you swim frequently? Do you work with your hands? How much sun exposure do you get? What is your occupation? Describe your personal style. What are your skin, hair, and nail care habits? How much time do you want to invest in maintaining your nails, hair, or skin? Show and tell. Encourage your client to describe styles or services that they like. Monitor the choices to ensure the services are feasible for the client's hair, skin, or nails, and personal style. Many times, clients desire a service that may have been on a friend or heard of a celebrity getting. If the desired result is not achieved, create a plan or alternative options and set future goals. In addition, listen to how the client describes their expectations. If the client says they want their hair short, for instance, does that mean shoulder length, above the ears, 1 inch long all over the head? When the client's bangs are dry, should they be long enough to touch their eyebrows? In order to make sure you understand what your client is saying, repeat what they tell you, using specific terms like chin length or resting on the shoulders, as opposed to vague terms like short or long, and reinforce your words both with pictures and by pointing to where the hair would fall, listening to the client and then repeating in your own words. What you think the client is telling you is known as reflective listening. It is important to focus on the client and not interrupt while they are speaking. After the client is finished, restate and confirm what was said. Then ask for confirmation to make certain you understand what the client wants or needs. Recommend. Make recommendations as part of the needs assessment. Once you have enough information, ask the client if you may make some recommendations. Before giving any suggestions, wait for them to give you permission to do so. Then base your recommendations on the client's needs and desires. Narrow your selections in keeping with the following criteria. Lifestyle. The service you choose must fit the client's maintenance ability, meet the client's needs, and provide options as required. Hair, nail, skin type. Base your recommendations on the client's characteristics. In the case of skin, do they have dry, normal, oily, or combination skin? For nails, make suggestions based on the client's preferred nail lengths and shape. Face shape. For hair, point out hairstyles that would look good with the client's face shape. Is the face narrow across the temple area? If so, you should suggest styles that add a little fullness to the area. The same applies to makeup options. When you make suggestions, qualify them by referencing the above parameters. For example, I think this hairstyle would work well with the texture of your hair. Tactfully discuss any unreasonable expectations that the client expresses, based on their characteristics or personal needs. If their hair, nail, skin is damaged, address intensive treatments, better home care products, and lifestyle changes. Upsell. Upsell services. Unless a client absolutely does not want to talk about adding on to their services, these recommendations should be a part of every consultation service. For example, almost everyone can use a paraffin treatment to soften the skin of the hands, or makeup services after a facial, hair, or nail service to complete a new look and feel. Never hesitate to suggest additional services. Be sure to offer 2 or more that will complete the look or improve it in some way. In addition to color, this should be texture services for added hair movement or body, a strengthening service to maintain curls, a makeup lesson to complement your client's new style, a manicure with matching nails, a massager facial service, and so on. When talking about any beauty service, be very careful to make sure you and your client are speaking the same language. Beauty professionals are accustomed to the technical side of services and tend to use terms like multi-dimensional highlighting or monomer liquid and polymer powder. This may be very confusing and misleading to clients. Use pictures as much as possible. The term blonde to a beauty professional might be platinum blonde to a client. It may mean a few fine streaks or medium blonde around the hairline. Let photos be your guide. Service experience. When was the last time you went to a salon, spa, or barbershop for a service yourself? Putting yourself in the client's shoes will help you improve your communication skills in every way. First, recall your most recent shop visit. Now write down the following information. Your first impression of your beauty professional. Your beauty professional's best verbal and nonverbal communication. Any questions you asked your beauty professional and their reply. Questions you wanted to ask but did not, and why not. What you would charge, knowing what you know now about how to communicate with clients. What you would change, knowing what you know now about how to communicate with clients. Would you have asked more questions to make certain you got what you wanted? Would you have avoided a certain subject? Do you think you communicated exactly what you wanted? What questions did you ask that your client may not know to ask, since they are not a beauty professional? Maintenance. Discuss upkeep and maintenance. Counsel every client on maintenance services. Lifestyle limitations. Clients receiving exfoliation, for example, should avoid sun exposure and at-home maintenance need in order to look their best. Let the client know that throughout the service, you will be educating them on various products that you would recommend for home use, and that at the end of the service, there will be an opportunity to choose the products they need. Repeat. Review the consultation. Reiterate everything that you have agreed upon by using a phrase like, "What I heard you say is." Make sure to speak measured, precise terms. Use visual tools to demonstrate the intended end result. This is the most critical step of the consultation process because it determines the ultimate service. Always take your time and be thorough. Pause for your client's confirmation and ask the client for feedback on the consultation process. After a successful consultation, it is time to conduct the service. Focus on retailing. The best way to make retailing recommendations is to use these 3-step plan to discuss the what, why, and how of the recommendation. Once you have chosen a product for the client, this is what I recommend. Next, explain why you recommend the product. This is the perfect time to refer back to the concerns that the client expressed during the consultation. Finally, describe how the client should use the product at home. Educating clients using these 3 steps help them better understand your recommendations and make selling the home care products much easier. We're going to stop there for this video. I will be recording the next half of Chapter 3. Please like, share, and subscribe. I hope this was helpful. Thanks. Bye.